Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about taking initiative. We're going to talk about passing the buck and accepting responsibility. We're going to talk about all those things that leaders are supposed to do by default or supposed to avoid by default. We're going to do this because we've hit that point in American politics where those at the highest level refuse to accept responsibility for anything, refuse to take initiative, to do their jobs, the very things they were sent there to do. There was an interview here in Florida with the governor here, DeSantis, and he was asked about the unemployment problem we're having. The program here is just a disaster. When he was asked about it, he did what politicians do. He deflected. He said it was somebody else's fault, didn't have to take responsibility for it and all that stuff. The only thing that was surprising was that he threw a fellow Republican, Rick Scott, under the bus and basically said it looked as though the system was designed to deny as many claims as possible and to throw up so many roadblocks that people just gave up on getting the money that they were entitled to. Now, let me stop here and explain. In Florida, to get unemployment, you have to have been working and then fired or greatly reduced in hours through no fault of your own. This is not a lazy entitlement program or anything like that, so just save that for somewhere else. So he goes through and he lays out why it's not his fault, why somebody else was responsible for it, throws another Republican under the bus. And then he gets asked why he didn't fix it. And he said because nobody had asked him to. It's a statement that just boggles my mind. I'm fairly certain that when the people of Florida sent him to Tallahassee, that was them asking him to. They were asking him to look out for his interest. I don't know who he thinks should have told him to fix a basic function of government. Lobbyists? The president accepting more marching orders from Trump? I don't know who should have asked him. It was his responsibility to fix it, but he needed somebody to tell him to do his job. They're at the point where they don't even feel like they need to display any initiative. They're admitting they're just puppets of a lobbyist and government functionaries. It's surprising and it's not. We all knew that this is how it is. I think on some level, everybody knew that. But they at least pretended before. They've gotten to that point where the ruling class in this country, that political class, they feel so entitled to those positions, so entitled to rule over their lessers, that they don't even feel they need to pretend that they're looking out for the little guy. Governor DeSantis had the means. Therefore, he had the responsibility. He had the responsibility to act because he could. It's very fair to point fingers at DeSantis and at Scott. They both failed. It's fair. We just need to remember that we're now painfully aware of how inept, how incompetent our government is. It makes us looking out for each other that much more important. Rule 303, if you have the means, you have the responsibility to act. They're not going to help. This is probably the time to set up your little community network. Get your group of friends together and make that open statement. Really commit to the cause of mutual aid, of you guys helping each other out, of you taking that step and saying it out loud. We're going to look out for each other. We're going to look out for our communities. Because it's very clear the ruling class in this country isn't going to do it. Sometimes there's justice and sometimes there's just us. Right now, it's just us. We need to remember that more than ever as the country descends into this mess that has been created by electing these people who feel entitled. These lazy, entitled people. They don't even have to do their job. They don't even have to pretend that they're doing their job. Well, nobody told me I needed to do that. If you were a cashier and somebody walked up to check out and you just stood there and you told your boss, well, they never said that they wanted me to ring them up, what would happen? The same thing should probably happen here. That person probably shouldn't have a job anymore. They are so entitled. They feel so far above the rest of us that they don't even need to pretend they're looking out for their constituents anymore. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.